Welcome to Teacher Nikki's Kitchen, where today I am going to show you how I make my sweet corn salsa, and then we're going to mix that with our pork adobo flautas. So to get started, so our salsa has time for everything to meld and be a perfect marriage, we're going to get started with the salsa. I start this corn salsa using the Green Giant vegetables that have bell peppers. What's great about it is it has the bell peppers, it has some onion, and the corn is roasted, so it helps level up the flavor quickly. This is a quick salsa. So to our corn, I'm going to add 1/4 of a white onion, 1 whole seeded jalapeno, and 2 tablespoons of finely chopped cilantro. Give this a mix. To this, we are going to add the juice of 1 lime. And since I did call this my sweet corn salsa, we level up the sweetness by adding 1 tablespoon of light brown sugar. Now to season, meaning to add a little bit of salt, I use my Goya adobo. Again, it's because it has the salt, it has some garlic, it has black pepper, oregano, and a tiny bit of turmeric. It just gives a little extra on top. Knowing that this is the beginning and the flavors will meld and get better, just gonna take a little taste to make sure that my seasoning is where it needs to be. It's already good, and with some time in the fridge while we're making flautas, it will get even better. This is my sweet corn salsa. Now, because these are pork flautas, I'm going to start with 1 pound of ground pork in Black Beauty, my cast iron skillet. To my skillet, I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil to start the cooking process of the pork. It's important that you break up the pork so that it has an opportunity to brown and not just steam, because it's all stuck together. To our cooking pork, we're going to add 1 cup of frozen vegetables, just the picked sweet peppers and onions, and let them cook with the pork. to our pork mixture, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of cumin and a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Now that our pork is cooked through, we're going to make our adobo simmering sauce that's going to level up the flavor and make these pork flautas delicious. Our simmering sauce is made with 1 small can of tomato sauce, and 1 small can of chipotles in adobo sauce. Let's see how many we're putting in. 1 chipotle, 2, 3, 3.5. 3.5 chipotles and the adobo sauce that they were packed in. Now we're going to blend this until it is a smooth sauce that we will put over our cooked pork. Give it a shake. Make sure that all of it got to the blades. Now we will turn down our heat to medium and pour over our adobo simmering sauce. We're going to leave this to simmer for about 6 minutes. The sauce will thicken and it'll be ready for us to continue making the filling for our flautas. Now, to bulk up these flautas for my family, I also add my Mexican rice to give the filling another texture and just to bulk it up so that we can fill up our bellies. So what I do is I use about 2 cups of my Mexican rice. If you're interested in this recipe, it'll be right here. Add in Mexican rice, and it's just left over from a couple of days ago. And go ahead and give that a good mix so that it's well incorporated. Since it's leftover rice, I am going to add just a little bit of water just to add moisture back into the pork. I'm gonna give a quick taste to my flautas mixture, just to make sure that the rice is heated through and the seasonings are where I like them. That is gonna make a delicious roll taco. We're gonna turn the heat off because our filling is ready to be added to our tortillas. For this, I'm using 6-inch flour tortillas to hold my flautas mixture. I've prepared my baking sheet. To prepare my pan, I'm going to use my brush and a little olive oil just to coat the bottom so that we make it more non-stick. The flour tortillas would love to just cling to this, and that's not what we want. To be sure that our flautas end up with a crisp exterior, I'm going to use my olive oil and my brush to paint both sides of the tortilla before adding the filling. I'm going to be adding the filling that I made in the cast iron skillet and also a hearty pinch of Fiesta blend cheese. So like I shared before, I brushed both sides of the 6-inch flour tortilla with olive oil. Get a hearty scoop of our flautas mixture, the pork and the rice. And a nice pinch of cheese. And then we just roll it over. The best thing I've discovered about painting both sides is that when you flip it over, the other side is already shiny. When you're putting them in the pan, be sure to put them seam side down to help it stay sealed and closed as you're cooking. Gonna give my pan a little turn so that I can reach my empty space. Last one that's going to fit in this pan. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The last thing I do before I put them in the oven is I give them just one more brush of the olive oil or vegetable oil to help the top get crisp and golden brown. My oven is preheated to 415 degrees and my flautas are going in. We're going to bake the flautas for between 12 and 15 minutes. Once they're golden brown on top and a little crispy, they'll be ready to come out. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. It's time for us to get our flautas out of the oven. Golden brown on top, bubbling filling, just right. Now, because we put these on the pan seam side down, you usually have to take a spatula and run underneath them to unstick them so that they don't unroll. It's just a gentle slide of the spatula just to unstick the flautas where maybe the cheese melted out some. Our flautas are unstuck and ready to taste. Let me grab my corn salsa. Our corn salsa, you can see that the corn and some of the peppers have released their juice. It's nice and cold. The flavors have melded. When I serve something like this, I also put together a side plate of things that family can add. So, to my side plate, I have extra cheese, lettuce, tomato, red onion, and sour cream, just for me. I'm going to choose my flauta. See how it's so browned on the bottom? And a little bit of cheese came out. That's why scraping with the spatula helps. I cut it in half. Cut it in half so you can see the filling on the inside. That's my adobo sauce, my pork, my peppers and onions, my rice, and my cheese. Add a little bit of corn salsa. And a little dollop of sour cream. Here's my tasting plate. I'm gonna use my fork to set up my ideal bite, my flauta. My flauta, a little corn salsa, and sour cream. so flavorful, quick, and easy. The pork is juicy, the adobo gives it the right level of spice and flavor, not necessarily heat, and the corn salsa with its cool and crisp texture level this recipe right on up. I suggest you make this for your family. If you do, let me know how it works out in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed learning how I make my pork adobo flautas for my family, and I will see you next time. Bye.